was 58, chasing the lights. Both had battles that brought them low, but they found a way to steal the show. Health concerns were weighing them down till they found a path that turned it around. Carnivore diet, they took the lead, finding strength in the promises they keep. Now they're living wild, living free, healing body and mind, just wait and see. Tune into the truth every single week. Real Talk with Brian and Johnny, that's the peak. 8 p.m. on YouTube, gather near, uplifting vibes, let's give a cheer.
All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. It is Ugly Christmas Sweater. Did I say that right? Christmas Ugly Sweater Party Day.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Johnny, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Brian. How are you tonight?
I am doing good. So what does your sweater look like? I can't quite see it all. I can only see from like chest down or chest up. Okay, he's got a cow. All right.
Sticking with the whole carnivore theme, got the cow, got the glasses on, so it's like a bougie cow. It's a bougie cow.
Yep. All right, that's pretty cool. So my lighting again all messed up. I gotta admit, the cow thing is like the thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
I got the cow. This is the same sweater I wore the last time when Greg and I did this. Was that like 2 years ago, I think?
Yeah,
Here's my crazy thing. I literally went out shopping over the weekend to try and get a new one. And I don't know if I was just too late to the game or what, but there wasn't a very big selection at the couple stores I went to, and they didn't have my size. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to wear the same one I wore the last time. But I got the Santa hat on too, so I added a little bit to it this time.
Yeah, I have a Santa hat somewhere. I just don't know where it's at. I could have looked for it, but I ended up working today. I was supposed to be off. They called me into work, so I'm a little disheveled right now. Just coming home from work a little while ago and eating, and then getting ready for this. Brian, I'm going to tell you, this is the same sweater I wore that when you and Greg had that contest. And if you remember, I ended up winning. And the funny thing, this collar this is a female. I got this from the ladies department and didn't realize it. So Big Russ over there, Russ Mitchell, he's always teasing me about my lady sweater, that I'm getting in touch with my feminine side, and maybe there's something I need to share with everybody. But anyway, so I thought I was going to cut the sleeves off this thing and make it like a wife beater, and my wife wouldn't let me do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to really tacky it up some.
But I think this is really funny that we both have cow sweaters.
Yeah.
Wow. Christmas cow sweaters.
Christmas cows. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, gosh. All right. Let's say hi to some people in the chat here. What do we got? We got Rick. Rick was first to comment.
Yeah.
Of course,
hey, Rick.
Miami. Hello. Bacon Runner from Maine.
Hey, Bacon Runner.
We got Paul from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Lancaster, Pennsylvania. That same city in South Carolina is called Lancaster. They don't say Lancaster, it's Lancaster if you're in South Carolina.
We got Bride's Biscuit, New York City.
Hey, Brad's Biscuit.
Carnivore, Peter.
Hey, Peter.
And he is in South Florida.
Yep.
75 today. Nice. Target Prime Rib. Hello.
I'm gonna say, buddy.
Yep. No lies detected with the ugly. What did I miss here? I don't know what that means. Do you?
No, I bet you're saying my sweater is very ugly.
I guess. Lewis is here.
Hey, Lewis.
Those are some ugly sweaters. Yes, they are. The ugliest sweater I've ever seen. Holy cow, Johnny.
Exactly. Well, Brian's got a cow on his.
Yeah. Rick doesn't even own a sweater or a jacket. That's how hot it is always in Miami. But if you want to wear an ugly T-shirt, that'll work, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to put. There we go. So it's up for everybody to see. Yes, utter greatness. I know.
Utter.
In the words of the immortal Phil Rizzuto, holy cow. I had another one of the New York strips I got from Publix for dinner tonight. It was delicious. On that note, with Publix, I believe I saw that starting tomorrow they're going to have their sale on prime rib.
Yeah,
I believe.
I believe that's the case. Yeah. And hey, you guys, if anybody wants to join us, if you have an ugly sweater or an ugly T-shirt or something like that, you want to join us, Brian's got the link posted down there. It's pinned on his channel. So if you're on Brian's channel, the link is pinned. I think you can see it in the comments as well. It should be clickable. So if you guys want to join us on screen, if you have an ugly sweater or a Christmas hat or an ugly T-shirt, something Christmas themed, and you want to come on screen with us, we'd love to have you.
It's a moving tribute to Christmas. As I read this comment, my mind immediately read it as Bart Simpson.
That's right.
Yes. Identify as a Muscovy duck.
And then you better watch out around Rick. That's one of his favorite things.
So Rick does have plenty of ugly shirts that look like they went through a hurricane.
They probably
they have a Christmas theme to it.
Yeah.
They need a Christmas theme.
It could be red or green or red and green.
Yes. All right. We are caught up on comments. So let's see. We are exactly 1 week from Christmas Eve, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Next
Exactly.
Wednesday is Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So we're a week from Christmas Eve. Oh, Greg is here. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Greg.
And yes, Greg, as I was saying before you posted, so you might not have been here, this is the same sweater I wore a couple years ago when we did the thing. And Johnny said that's the same one he wore too. So Johnny with his feminine sweater. Yes.
Don't make me get emotional.
So
I still got the price tag. I still got the tag hanging from it.
Oh, you still have? Yeah.
The tag off.
I remember you had the tag on the last time too, and you still have. Oh my gosh.
My intent was to take it back.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Yes.
I can't talk. Got to get on the stocking stuffers. Yes, because we have 1 week to go.
Yeah.
I'm still doing shopping. So here's the funny thing. My wife does the shopping for like everybody else in the family. All I have to do is shop for my wife, and I'm still shopping because I procrastinator. I've gotten her some stuff, but I need to get her more. So I am still shopping. Yeah. There you go, Johnny. You can return it with luck with that tag.
It's kind of become my good luck charm, so I think I'll keep it. I'm still going to keep the tag. It's the old Minnie Pearl. Remember Minnie Pearl, the country singer that always had the price tag hanging from her wig, or from her hat, I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my Johnny Pearl, I guess you'll call it.
Yes, very festive. So I guess, okay, so we should say, so since Christmas Eve is next Wednesday, and then New Year's Eve is the following Wednesday, we're not going to do a show each of those next 2 Wednesdays. So this is our last show of the year, and then we will be back live on Wednesday, January 7th.
Yeah.
So I know you guys are really going to miss us on Christmas Eve when you're with your families, and same thing on New Year's Eve, but that's okay.
Yeah. Brian's going to be busy. I'm going to be busy. Plus, we thought, how many folks are actually going to tune in and watch on Christmas Eve if they have family or whatever they're busy, and especially not New Year's Eve. So this will be the last show of the year. Let's make it a great one. If anybody wants to join us, that link is in there. And Brian, at first we said if they had a Christmas themed sweater or hat or whatever, but heck, if anybody wants to join us, this is the last show of the year. Go in there, put you in the backstage, and Brian will bring you up if you want to just come on and say hi to everybody. We'd love to have you. Just be a little more interactive than normal.
Yep, definitely. What was I gonna say? This hat's got me all messed up. I can't even remember things I was
cutting off the circulation there, Brian.
Yeah, I guess so. I got a big head. So, yeah. So, I had this up. I did not get to see that. I'm gonna have to look back and see. I've missed a lot lately. I haven't really been able to do any of the other lives or anything. It's just been busy, my family, and busy with working and stuff. I know you've been busy with working, so I've missed a lot of stuff lately.
Yeah, me too. And Brian, to be honest with you, I haven't even seen any of your stuff. I've seen the thumbnails. I'm just stretched pretty thin right now, and like I said, I've got to do all my Christmas shopping tomorrow because I've got to work like every day between now and Christmas Eve. I got to work, so I'm going tomorrow and do all of my shopping, which, like you, will simply be for my wife. I buy for my brother, my sister and brother-in-law, my dad and my stepmom. But my wife takes care of all the kids and the grandkids and all that stuff. So she really takes the load off me there. Plus, she loves shopping, and so I would pick terrible stuff. She's great at picking gifts. But I'm going to go get her stuff tomorrow, and I'll grab some stuff for my family, my brother and stepmom and dad and my sister. So I got even tomorrow I'm going to be busy trying to figure out what to get everybody. But I'll come up with something.
All right. That's cool for Rick. 1 year anniversary since he started doing his live at 8 on Saturday mornings. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So New Year's Eve, another reason why when we were talking before this live, and I was like, yeah, we're not going to do New Year's Eve either. New Year's Eve is actually my birthday.
No, that's right. That's right. You'll be 52.
I will be 52 years old.
Yeah, and then I'll be 59 in March. So we got to get busy on finding a new song for the opening, because in the opening it says Brian's 51, and then it comes where it says Johnny's 58. So we gotta redo the opening. We'll come up with something a little special, and we'll debut it on January's show. So because Brian will be 52 years old then.
There you go. I will be 52. Yep. So I'm wondering, for your Christmas list, let me ask this first, because I've got family that lives in different areas and so forth, and they're coming back to town for Christmas, and so we do a Christmas list that we give out to everybody so that they can purchase things that we'd want to get, right? And I'm horrible about this. They're always complaining to me, you don't have anything on your list and so forth. But one of the things I put on my list was steak. So I'm wondering if I'm going to get any steak for Christmas or anything like that. Last year, I put this on my list last year too. Last year, I think I got a gift card for Omaha Steaks or something like that. But then on my birthday, I think it was my birthday, I got ribeye tomahawk. So that was pretty cool. Do you do anything like that with a Christmas list, and you put meat or carnivore-ish type of stuff on your list?
We don't really do lists. My wife always says, what do you want for Christmas? And I always tell her, babe, just having your love is all I want for Christmas. And she gets so mad. At this age, Brian, I have everything I need and basically everything I want. If there's anything I want, I'm blessed that I can just go buy it, except for a Maserati. I couldn't do that, but I could go buy I recently bought myself a new frying pan. I paid $60 for a frying pan. It's crazy. I never in a million years thought I'd pay $60 for a frying pan, but I use it every single day. So I guess buying quality. So I did tell my wife I wanted a new cup. I drink coffee every morning. I put some organic heavy whipping cream. and I know coffee is very controversial in this community, but I'm going to have it. As long as the weather's cold, I'm going to drink coffee in the mornings. Once the weather heats up, I don't drink coffee. I can't drink it when it's hot. But I've switched over to decaf. So I'm drinking the Folgers decaf coffee, 1 cup. I put some organic heavy whipping cream from Organic Valley in there. And I don't even drink the whole thing usually, but so I asked my wife for a new cup because my old one, the lid's broke on it. It's got a crack, so it leaks a little bit. So hopefully I'll get that. But it'd be nice to get a gift card. And I see all those advertisements on Facebook, of course. You talk about meat, you're going to start getting advertisements. But there is an ad I keep seeing, Brian, for a company that does family-run, regeneratively raised, organic, grass-fed, grass-finished beef. They sell it by the box, and it comes in dry ice. But I haven't looked at the price or anything. But it's got my curiosity up. I may click on it and look and see how much that would cost. It's probably a lot more than I'm spending right now. But I'm starting to get more and more concerned, or I don't know, activist, if you will, with regenerative farming, because what's killing our soil is this monocropping, where they plant the same crops over and over again, and it strips the soil. Where if they do regenerative farming with cattle or with sheep, it tends to make the soil healthier, so it makes the grass healthier, so it makes the animals healthier. So thinking about looking into that. Maybe I'll put that on my list for next year. And the butcher, was it Butcher Box? That's another one too I wouldn't mind looking into.
Butcher Box.
Yeah.
I had Butcher Box before. It wasn't bad. It's a little pricey, but it was all grass fed. So
yeah,
that's cool. So Greg asked if we're gonna cook some prime rib. I did get some prime rib. Aldi had a sale already, so I got from Aldi. We're gonna get some more from Publix when their sale starts. But I did get a pretty nice prime rib that we're gonna do on Christmas Eve. That's kind of like the thing we like to do with Christmas Eve. So we'll do prime rib. Christmas Day we usually do like ham. I made fresh homemade kielbasa. I'm Polish, so that's a Polish thing. So we're gonna have that kind of and stuff like that on Christmas Day. But Christmas Eve we're gonna do prime rib. How about you? What are you planning for your meals?
Well, my wife went today to get a ham, and they had plenty of them. And the deal was you had to buy, it was like 89 cents a pound or something. And you had to buy $35 worth of other groceries to get that special price on the ham. And so I think we're going to go tomorrow, and I'll get me some cube steak, because cube steak ends at like $6.99 a pound. So I'll get some cube steak and some other stuff. But we're definitely going to have ham for Christmas dinner. And I like ham. I'll eat a good bit of it. I'm hoping that maybe New Year's Day we can do pork ribs. My wife likes to do, the pork and then the collard greens, whatever, for the money, the luck, the beans. I'll have a little bit of beans and a little bit of greens, but I'm hoping to do some pork ribs in the Instapot on New Year's Day. I tell you, if you never had ribs in Instapot, man, it is unbelievably good. Instapot, acts like a pressure cooker. It's got the clamps that hold the top down. And when I eat the ribs, I literally eat the bones. The bones are so soft, and you can just eat them. And so you get all the benefits of bone, the marrow, the calcium, and all that stuff. So if you ever get a chance to have ribs, and I know you've got the smoker, and I want a smoker, but that Instapot is amazing. I haven't done any beef, like a roast in the Instapot, but I think I might try that. But definitely ham for Christmas dinner.
I have a question here. What are your favorite ugly sweaters?
That's mine. Ignore the short, y'all.
He's got shorts on. I do have to say, I've got a bell on mine, but I'm gonna go with the same thing that I did the last time when we did this ugly sweater thing a couple years ago with Greg. Johnny wins because he's got the female sweater.
That explains this neckline. It's for a woman.
Yes,
I bought it in the.
It's got that funny look.
Yeah, if you guys weren't watching earlier, if you didn't see the show a couple years ago when we did this, I was at Kohl's. My wife and I were rushing around trying to find the ugly sweater the day of that show, And I said, oh, here's one. It's got a cow one, and I'll grab it. Never paid attention that it was from the women's department. So I get home and I'm getting ready to put it on, and my wife says, why did you buy that women's sweater? And I said, what are you talking about? She said, we were in the women's department when you picked that up. I had no idea. I was just in full-blown panic. So now that's the running joke. If you guys know Russ, what does was it Keto? What is Russ's channel? They do what's it called?
The Keto Cookout?
Yeah. So Russ Mitchell from the Keto Cookout, he was on the show with us that night, and he has really, really, really given me a lot of grief about this over the last couple of years, but it's all in fun.
Yeah.
And so I still got the tag hanging from it, and I've never took the tag off.
All right, I'm gonna catch up on some comments here really quickly. Ooh, I did this one. Here we go. I bought a spiral ham, and I have my eye on some duck. No good sales on beef came around here. And then Cynthia says that the Aldi was out of the prime rib roast when she went. So we got two different, because it was a limit of one. So 2 different times going. And then the third time we went, they were out of it. So we did get 2 of them at least.
If you guys have a Publix near you, look on your line and see if there's a Publix near you. Because like Brian was saying earlier, I'm pretty sure Publix sale which is their annual sale, they have it every year on the prime rib roast, or the whole loin. I'm pretty sure it starts tomorrow. I saw online 2 or 3 places today that people were saying that the Publix sale starts tomorrow. And I think Publix tends to have a larger quantity of meat because they got a bigger meat department than Aldi. But and the price I think is the same, or maybe $1 per pound different. But check out Publix if you have a Publix near you. Go online and check out their sales ad.
Yep. And this I think was like last week. Publix had the New York strip for $7.99 a pound. I didn't get a chance to go there, but I typically get my New York strip for $9.99 at Costco, so that's not too bad. But Peter got a couple of 5-pound New York strip roasts for $7.99 a pound at Publix. He's cutting them into 10 steaks. That's nice.
So that's 10 steaks for $80. That's pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you do the math, it's like $80. If you can get 10 steaks, that's $8 a steak. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's if you do 1 pound steaks.
Should have done the sardine challenge tonight.
Well, let's talk about that, Brian. I remember when you and Greg did that, you ate sardines on the show, and I think Greg was a little more open to the sardines. You like me struggled with it a little bit. Then you spilled some sardine sauce juice all over your computer or whatever. I remember that. I was watching that night.
Yeah.
And then you knocked your microphone over, but that's a whole different story.
That's why I'm holding it tonight. It's not getting knocked over. I might drop it, but yeah.
So that's
that was around Christmas time too, because Nicole and Aaron were on with us, and Nicole, I remember her having a Christmas outfit on that day. But yes, Greg was very into eating the sardines, and I was not as much. They tasted okay, but they really stunk. And I did get some of the juice all over keyboard and stuff. I was spraying air freshener in the room and stuff. Oh, it was bad. It was rough.
But Greg brings up a great point, because one of my goals, and I know a lot of people don't like doing the New Year's resolutions, and I'm not going to call it a resolution, but for the year of 2026, one of the things that I've set out for myself is to try some different things. For example, sardines. I've never eaten sardines, and I love hot sauce. So if they're a little fishy or whatever, a little pungent, I'll put a little bit of Cholula hot sauce in there, and I'll have them, because I'm seeing a lot of, like, Dr. Boz talks about sardines. A lot of the doctors that we all follow are really, really big on sardines. They're talking about it's close to a superfood. It's maybe second only to fatty red meat. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to try duck. I've never had duck before, and Rick has convinced me that duck is probably worth my time. So I'm going to have duck, and I have had. Remember those Cornish hens? Have you ever had Cornish hens? They're
Yeah.
like a small. I don't know, like everybody gets their own little chicken or whatever. And I haven't had Cornish hen in a while.
Yep.
So for 2026, I'm going to try some sardines. I probably will try beef liver as well. Maybe just a couple ounces a month. Because I don't do any organ meats at all right now. And or maybe I'll get, if there's a local butcher that I've got to know, if I can get him to put some liver into a bunch of ground beef, that way you kind of get that. There's a company that makes it. It's called Primal Blend or whatever. So you get some organ meat in with your hamburger meat, and it kind of hides the taste of liver. But that's kind of where I want to go in 2026, is to try get out of my comfort zone and try some other carnivore foods that might be just as advantageous, and maybe not as expensive as the ribeye.
Yeah. So I got some kimchi recently for the fermented thing, and I can't remember, but there's some type of fish in it. At least the one I got.
Really? Anchovies?
It's cabbage, and it might be. It's cabbage and something else. I can't remember what it was.
Is it real spicy?
It's a little bit. It's got a little bit of a kick. It's not too bad.
Rick makes kimchi, I think.
Does he?
I think Rick said he makes it. He's made it before.
So Greg is right. I was licking my fingers, but I did not lick the keyboard. I did have like a whole roll of paper towels that I was using cleaning that stuff up. It was bad. Oh gosh.
Brian, can you believe that's been 2 years ago?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Peter says happy Hanukkah. So
Yeah,
yes,
happy Hanukkah.
don't forget. Happy
Those of y'all
Hanukkah.
that celebrate. I think, was it yesterday was the first day of Hanukkah? Either yesterday or the day before yesterday. So we're in the throes of Hanukkah right now. So happy
Somewhere
Hanukkah,
in there, yeah.
Jewish friends.
Yes. Greg has never had duck.
Yeah.
Think I have either. Maybe we're gonna have to do a live stream with the three of us where we try duck.
That would be awesome.
Ever had squab? What is squab? I don't know what squab is.
I've heard of it before. What is it, Rick? Squab. I've heard of that before.
Yeah.
Is it a
I don't
seafood?
know.
Is it a
Let
fish?
us know what it is. Rick says he makes sauerkraut, yogurt, and kefir.
I thought one time he said he made kimchi, but maybe not.
I currently have some sauerkraut and yogurt and the kimchi. And I've got some blue cheese and some farmer's cheese. And I'm trying to think. I think there's something else. Oh, I found some good culture cottage cheese. So I take a little bit of all of those to put in. So just a little bit. So I have a little bit of variation in my ferments. But yeah, the good culture is the first time I found that anywhere near me in like 2 months. It's crazy.
Brian, I'll say this: I'm real big on pasture raised eggs. I don't have a ton of money, but I like to spend my money. Like when I go to the store, I don't consider myself buying groceries. I'm buying nutrients, or I'm buying nutrition. So I spend more than a lot of people do. For example, I eat nothing but pasture raised eggs, and at the height of inflation a year or so ago, they're like $8 a dozen. And so I eat a lot of eggs, but because I didn't have money for much else. But Sam's was out of their members mark pasture raised eggs for like a year. I mean, they didn't have any. And then here lately, the Sam's up by me up here just above Charlotte, they had the one the other day, and they had 2 pallets, and they come in 18 packs with 18 eggs for $5.79 or $5.89. So it's a pretty good deal actually. But they had strict limit of 2. So I went one day and got some, went back the next day, and the supply was kind of down. So I went the next day to see if any was more, and they brought in 2 more full pallets. So it looks like if you guys get pasture raised eggs from Sam's by chance, looks like they're back in stock pretty good now. And I eat 6 to 8 eggs every single day of my life.
Yeah. What's interesting about that? I was working on a video. I can't even remember which video I had come out today. I don't think it's the one that came out this morning. But talking about the pasture-raised eggs, Aldi, for instance, Their regular eggs right now are where I live are $2.19 for a dozen.
Mhm.
For the pasture raised eggs, they're $4.85.
Yeah.
And for people that talk about how they can't afford pasture raised eggs, let's think about this. $4.85. So here's some research I did. If you get the Starbucks cinnamon dulce latte, where standard 16 ounce is $5.85. That's more than a dozen eggs.
Yeah.
If you get the Starbucks sugar cookie latte, standard 16 ounce, is $6.25.
Good Lord.
And here's what's even more mind boggling to me. If you do, where I live, at Aldi, a pound of ground beef right now you can get for $4.99 a pound. A dozen pasture raised eggs, $4.85 a pound. So you're under $10, right? Similar, and a pound of ground beef and dozen eggs for a lot of people is probably going to be 2 meals, probably what they'll eat the entire day, right?
Yep.
Similar price if you went to McDonald's Big Mac meal, just a regular fry and drink, $9.49. If you go, let's say Chick-fil-A sandwich meal, $9.29. And if you're going to eat one of those meals, it's not going to fill you up all day. You're going to eat something else.
Yep.
So you can get those pasture-raised eggs, a dozen of them, and a pound of ground beef for the same price. You can eat a half pound of ground beef and 6 eggs at one meal, and a half pound of ground beef and 6 eggs at another meal. Or if you want to eat just once for the day, you could eat the entire thing. I might not be able to eat a whole pound of ground beef and 12 eggs. I might have to go 6 eggs, but you could do that, and it's the same price as if you went to McDonald's. Is that something?
Well, Brian, you don't understand. Eating carnivore is too expensive. You don't understand that. Quit making sense. You're trying to make sense in this argument where everybody says it's too expensive.
Yeah. Well, you can kind of get the theme from my research I did here, that I have a video coming out about doing cheap carnivore.
Yeah.
I don't remember which day I have it coming out, so I got a couple queued up to go, but it's coming out soon.
Yeah.
I fell behind.
Yeah, there's a bunch of comments up there.
This is the one I flagged. Squab is pigeon,
Right.
by the way.
Mhm.
Interesting. A lot of people saying that they enjoy eating sardines. Peter. Bacon roll. Fried biscuit. Very interesting. They all like sardines. Bacon Runner also likes to eat canned mackerel and kipper snacks. I'm not sure what kipper snacks are, but kipper, I'm assuming, is a type of fish. I don't know.
Yeah. I assume.
I hear this a lot. I hear this a lot, Johnny, and you kind of brought this up. Sardines are a superfood. You mentioned that a lot of doctors talk about it. I've only ate them that one time, though. I gotta admit. Well, no, wait. Let me rephrase that. I've eaten them twice. The first time I ate them was before the show we did, but I cooked them. When we did the show, we didn't cook them. They came straight out of the can.
Did you have them in water or in oil?
They were just in water.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Just water.
Yeah, I know some people do them like with olive oil or whatever, but mine was just water. Bride's biscuit. I buy pastured and cage-free for my kids, but they steal mine. We go through a lot of eggs here.
Getting all that choline for the brain.
What, 2 dozen pasture-raised eggs I can't even talk tonight. Pasture-raised eggs at Aldi. They're very good and reasonably priced. They were very. The interesting thing I found for regular eggs, Aldi right now, where I live, and this is as of yesterday, Aldi has a dozen large eggs for $2.19. Walmart has a dozen large eggs for $1.97. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But Walmart, I could only find cage free. I could not find pasture raised eggs. So that was interesting.
And you know that cage
The
free
eggs aren't raised, the chickens, but you know.
the cage free eggs, they can be in a cage as long as the cage door is open for 20 minutes. I think twice a day it's considered cage free. But there's so many chickens packed into those cages, the chickens will never know that door was open. If it says pasture raised, by the way, I think it's the FDA or whoever it is that monitors that, they have to have so many square feet per chicken. You know, the chickens are pecking the ground, eating worms and bugs and grubs and things that chickens are supposed to eat. You know, I love when they see these, and you see it for, 100% vegetarian fed chicken. Chickens aren't vegetarians. The early bird gets the worm, not the grain, right? So yeah. I don't know why they say they're bragging. Oh, these chickens are 100% vegetarian fed. Chickens aren't vegetarians. They eat, bugs and grubs and worms and spiders and whatever, Yeah. But anyway, I digress. And then, if you throw some vegetables out and a chicken, they'll peck at it. They'll eat it all up. If you throw watermelon out there, they love watermelon rind and stuff like that. So yeah, they will partake in vegetation if that's all they have. But I think they prefer bugs and worms, because that's part of their species appropriate diet. That's why I do the pasture.
Yeah. This is interesting. Cynthia says, I read that kimchi is associated with stomach cancer, I guess. I think South Korea has a high incidence of it and blame it on the kimchi. I don't know. I mean, I take such little bit of it. I don't think it would make a difference. But I'm also wondering, how they can, where are they getting that from? Probably some studies that are probably flawed, because all studies are flawed. So it'd be interesting, though. I can't think of what would be in the kimchi that could cause stomach cancer, because it's fermented. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. I don't know. Maybe it's some produce all the rice or something. Yeah. I don't know. Peter agrees with you. Tries to buy the best quality meat and eggs and butter that he can find. I'll spend extra to get the higher nutrition items.
Yeah, Peter. It's like I was telling this guy that day. He was saying, well, John, you can get this and this so much cheaper. I said, well, if I'm going for bulk and cheap, I'll just eat ramen noodles all day, every day, because that's the cheapest bulk you can find, right? That or some rice or some oatmeal. But I'm not buying bulk. I'm buying nutrition. I know my cells, my mitochondria, my cells need these nutrients. That's why I spend so much money to buy the Redmond's real salt versus the Morton's cheap salt, because it's got trace minerals in it and it's not been bleached out with chemical bleach. So yeah, great point, Peter. I'm spending my money. And the thing about it is, the healthier I eat, and Brian, you know this, we all know this, the healthier you eat, the less you eat. When I was eating junk, when I fall off the wagon, I'll eat 3 or 4 times a day. When I eat good, clean carnivore, it's 1 meal, maybe 2, but usually only 1 a day. And so I may be spending more per meal, but if you eat 2 meals a day less, then it's a net savings over the week or over the month.
Yeah. So the one thing I was going to say with that is that not just that, but, you might be spending a little bit more on what you're eating to have a higher quality, in terms of eggs, meat, whatever. But you're also getting healthier, so you're spending less on medical bills and stuff.
Right. Not to mention quality of life. What is quality of life? How much would you spend for the highest quality of life you could have? What's that worth versus being inflamed or in a wheelchair or having your feet hurt all the time or your back hurt or having AFib? I mean, what's it worth? How much would you spend? How much would the average person spend to live the life like you and I live, Brian, and like Rick and everybody lives? I mean, it's crazy that I'll be 59 in March and I don't ever have pain anywhere. My feet never hurt. My back never hurts. My shoulders don't hurt. My elbows. I never have any pain anywhere. And I'm always in a good mood. And that's 100% attributed to the money that I spend to buy higher quality food. And even if I couldn't afford the grass-fed, grass-finished, those $1.99 eggs at Walmart beat the hell out of a $1.99 box of cereal.
Yep, that is true. eat what you can afford.
Yeah. Even the cheapest hot dogs is a whole lot better than eating a honey bun.
Yeah. I had eliminated down to about 6 foods, and that allowed me to buy better quality.
Exactly.
Yeah, I tend to eat a lot of the same foods all the time. A lot of people have talked about this kipper snacks. Kippered snacks. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to look it up.
And smoked herring fillets. Yeah, that's what I got to do. I got to start getting more seafood in my diet. Not a lot, but just here and there. And the sardines would be great. When I buy shrimp, I don't buy the farm shrimp. I'll try to buy the wild caught shrimp. It's a whole lot more expensive, and I don't eat it very often. But wild caught's going to have a higher iodine content than the farmed, and the wild caught is going to be a healthier species, I believe, than the farmed. I could be wrong, but that's my belief.
So this is funny because I just recorded another video that'll be coming out soon, where I'm actually talking about wild caught and farm raised fish and seafood. And yes, you're going to have more iodine in the wild caught. I think it's selenium. It's vitamin D or something. I can't remember exactly. The other thing is you're going to have, let me try and make sure I say this right. Excuse me if I say it backwards because I get confused on this sometimes, but you're going to have lower hold on, I don't want to say it wrong because let me look. I know I've got it here somewhere, I think.
Well, Brian, while you look that up, I'm gonna just remind everybody that the link, if you want to join us on screen, the link is on there. It's pinned on Brian's channel. I think you can click to it just in the comments. Click on the link if you want to join us on screen. We'd love to have you. Again, this is our last show of 2025. So if anybody wants to jump on here with us, please feel free to do so. We'd love to have. We can have up to 6 or 8 or 10. I don't remember what the number is, Brian, that you have on your plan, but we can have people on here. If you guys want to come on screen and just wave and say hi, that'd be awesome.
Yep. Okay. So wild caught has lower omega-6 and higher omega-3.
Right.
And farm raised has lower omega-3 and higher omega-6. And so the better fat protein or fat, not protein, fat, I can't think of the word that I want to say, but the better ratio, I guess, is to have higher omega-3 and lower omega-6. So that's another reason why wild caught is better, even though you're going to pay a little bit more than what you do for farm raised, but it's a lot better quality. So again, do what you can afford, but if you can afford to get the wild caught, it's much better for you than the farm raised.
Brian, that's the same thing with the pasture raised eggs. The omega-3 to omega-6 ratio in a pasture raised egg is inverted from a regular factory farm chicken where the chickens are mass produced, and that all the eggs are the exact same size. They're all white. They all look identical. When you buy pasture raised eggs, you're getting that higher omega-3. I mean, we need omega-6. We do need some of that, but you need much more omega-3 than you do omega-6. And that's the problem with seed oils. There's vegetable oils and canola oil. They're almost pure omega-6, and it's terrible for the lining of your veins and arteries. That's where the damage is done. And in the inside, the tunica intima, if you will, which is the scientific name for the very inside of your arteries. So that's the problem with some of the seed oils. That's extremely high omega-6 content. So to Brian's point, if you can afford it and you can buy the wild caught fish or the pasture raised eggs, because you're trying to keep that omega-3 level high and that omega-6 level in check.
Yeah. Okay, we got somebody that's joining us, so I'm gonna bring him on right now. Here we go. This is Paul. Hey. Hello,
Paul. Hey,
how are you, Paul? To the whole carnivore world. I got something for you two guys. I think Johnny will really like this. Okay, and you'll probably like it too. Go on YouTube and Google stinking, STINKIN, stinking thinking. It's a funny little song. Stinking thinking, I'm giving you up. you've never done a thing for me.
Right.
And the guy who sings this is the guy who did all the songs for Southwest Airlines. Remember back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's Tony Bigham, Tony something, right? And if I could find it, you guys could find it. I was going to email it to you, but things are getting crazy. I'm
Sure.
getting ready to go see my grandkids for 4 or 5 days and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Stinking.
Stinking thinking. And it's a great little motivational song.
Oh, cool.
I'm letting you go.
I appreciate it. Thanks for coming up, Peter.
Yeah.
All right.
Just remember all these things about eggs and beef and all these terms you're throwing around are legal United States Department of Agriculture definitions. Okay.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
And pasture raised means they have access to pasture. Doesn't mean they went out there. Just means they have access to it.
That's a good
Read those definitions very carefully and critically. Kind of play devil's advocate, okay?
Yeah. One thing I know, Peter, when I crack an egg that's from $1.99 a dozen, the cheap eggs, the yolk is almost a bright yellow. When I get the pasture raised, whatever that means,
Orange. They're orange.
Orange is almost some of them are red. And the flavor profile, the richness is markedly different.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not exactly, to your point, maybe it's not exactly where the chickens are just running wild in the pasture, but there's something different about those chickens than the ones you buy, the cheap eggs. Because I can taste the difference in the eggs and you can see the difference in the eggs.
And the yolks are firmer.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's harder when you scramble. It's harder to break the yolks. Exactly.
So I was going to say, though, to Paul's point, I have bought pasture-raised eggs before, and they weren't very orange. So that does support what he says, that maybe sometimes they're not really getting out there in the pasture, Well,
I buy mine from the Amish, okay?
Yeah.
And they charge a little. They're not afraid to charge high prices, okay? And the one place I drive past every day, any place I go, I have to drive past this place. And if they have eggs for sale, they put the sign out. If they don't have them, there's no sign out.
Right.
And you stop, tap your horn, lady comes out with a basket full of eggs. It's a big basket. They're in the cartons already. And how many? And I've one time when it was warmer weather, they actually showed me where they raised their chickens, and they're outside a lot. And but all these things have legal definitions, okay? And it's just like organic, in my opinion. I was an avid gardener. I grew up in a horticultural atmosphere my whole life, surrounded by farms, all kinds of farms. And the one thing that's kind of interesting is that organic doesn't really mean anything. And here's why. They control all the inputs to the crop.
Right.
They test the soil and they got real strict rules on all the inputs, but they never take the tomato or the pepper or the zucchini, grind it up and check it and say, run it through Mr. Mass Spectrometer and see what's in this thing. But you may remember organic gardening and Organic Gardening Institute right here in Pennsylvania years ago. They went to Walmart and bought the vegetables. They went to the grocery store and bought the vegetables. They went to the backyard gardener, got the vegetables, and they got certified organic vegetables. And they tested them all. And there was not a clear winner. Some of the Walmart stuff won. First place, it was the cleanest. Okay? And that's the problem. That's the trouble I have with organic. They never check the end product. So you really don't know. One quick little story, and then I'm going to let you go. In 1973, with the energy crisis in southern part of New York State, upstate New York, everybody was cutting firewood to heat their house with. And a lot of people were elderly. They didn't have the money for the gas and oil. Well, over in Ohio, they burn that soft coal, goes up in the air with all the sulfur, makes sulfuric acid, rains down in New York State, and loosens up the chemicals in the soil called bauxite, which is aluminum.
Wow.
This country doctor down around Binghamton and Ithaca, New York, right in that area between those two cities, he had patients that were deathly ill. And he says, I'm going to their house. I'm going to see what they're doing. And he found out two things. They're all burning wood and they're canning green beans.
Wow.
Okay? So they're spreading the ashes from the trees. They're getting the acid rain, taking up the aluminum. You burn in the ashes and all the aluminum. They're spreading it on their soil. Oh, look how organic we are. We're using firewood ashes. Okay? Poisoning themselves.
Right.
3 people died. Okay? And so things are but people say, oh, wood ashes are so good. If you know what your wood ashes really are, yeah, they are good. They are good for the soil. Okay? And but it's not always what it appears. And some of the farmers, there's a farmer in Ithaca, New York. He's got a website. He's got 500,000 people tuning into him. He's only got 45 acres. He grows the Dexter beef. It's all grass. His average cow was hanging weight at slaughter. The carcass was 310 pounds. In 3 years of pasture improvement, working with Cornell University, he increased it by 1/3. His steers now just out at 420 pounds. You know how much profit that is?
That's a lot more.
Each animal is the same amount of work, but
right.
you're getting more. Yeah.
But that gets to what I was saying earlier, Peter. That gets to what I was saying earlier about regenerative farming, right? Because the problem was not with the cows. The problem was not the quantity of grass. The problem was the nutrients in the soil. So when they do, this might be the same guy. It might be the same guy that I watched.
No.
There was somebody that I watched, an older guy who's been a cattle farmer forever, a rancher forever, and he was real big into trying to maximize profits and cut corners. And he said it just got to him one day that his kids were eating this beef and his grandkids were eating this, and so he really looked into doing more regenerative farming. And then he thought that would cut into his profits, but essentially he got more yield. He had healthier cows, less disease in the cows. And now he's a big proponent of regenerative farming.
The cows are mammals just like us.
Right.
They need phosphorus, magnesium. They need all those nutrients too.
Right.
That's why farmers put out salt box.
Yep.
Okay. And, they even have these fancy mineral things now where the cow sticks his head under the cover and the minerals are there in the powder. They don't get wet because of the design of this thing. I worked on a dairy farm. I used to feed 90 cattle every night. Okay.
Wow.
They get a fork full of this, a gallon of that. We had a measuring cup. I think it was 2/3 of a cup. And they had a 5-gallon bucket of special mineral powder. I would sprinkle that in front of each cow on top of their corn and hay. Okay. And so you got to remember, think about it. All the minerals that are needed for plant growth were not evenly distributed across all arable land in the world.
Right.
That's not how the earth was made. Okay. You go to Lubbock, Texas. What are you going to get? You're going to get little white spots all over your teeth. Excess fluoride. It occurs naturally in the soil and water there. Okay. A military dentist can tell where the person is from. Oh, you're from Lubbock, Texas. I can tell by the spots on your teeth.
Wow. Great point.
All I'm saying is things aren't as simple as they look.
Right.
And again, you all have a good Christmas and enjoy. And like I said, I'm going off to see my 4 grandchildren. And but you got to remember too, when I was a kid and we butchered all the farmers in our area where I grew up in the 70s, the first time they had a Holstein cow, first time she was going to get pregnant, they inseminated her with an Angus bull sperm.
Mhm.
So she have a small calf. Make it a little easier on the cow. And we used to get those and raise them for beef. They were half Holstein, half Angus.
Right.
It was pretty good beef. And my uncles and dad would butcher them on the farm. We never ate the liver. We never ate the kidneys. We never ate the heart.
Yeah.
There was an old man around the corner who always wanted the tongue. We gave it to him. But we fed all that to our dogs. And we used to slice it up and freeze it, take it out, feed it to the dogs. And we didn't even, a lot of it we didn't even cook. We just gave it to them.
Right.
They just ate it. But remember too, when you're paying for all this stuff, it's nice if you got the money and you can afford it and you can support those people producing this stuff. But if you can't, you got to remember too, you're only getting like 10% more nutrients. So if a regular dozen eggs is $2, then the equivalent, if you look at buying, I believe you purchase nutrients.
Right.
You're not buying calories, you're buying nutrients, okay? And when you look at beef, get 1 pound of ground beef. I don't even care if you're paying $6 a pound. You can't buy, there's nowhere in the store except for the dairy section and the meat section where you can even come close to getting the proteins and the fats. You're not going to find it in the cereal aisle. You go over there and spend $1,000.
Right. You're exactly right.
You can't match the nutrition.
Right. And even if you could, Peter, even if you could, it's not bioavailable. It goes in your mouth and out your butt. All the engineered foods, the ultra processed foods, they may have all that stuff. It may be contained in there, but your body doesn't absorb it in the small intestine. Where the meat, to your point, you're paying for nutrients that you're actually absorbing.
Yeah.
See, what really killed America was, see, when you grind corn, or you say you got your own little grinder. I've got one, okay? I can grind my own corn, my own wheat. And when I grind it, I'm grinding the whole grain.
Right.
So the flour is very silky. It's almost slippery because the oil's in it from the germ. Okay, I ground that germ. It goes rancid quickly. Very quickly it goes rancid. And corn, when you grind corn, I used to love cornmeal. Okay? I lived just north of Charlotte by about 45 minutes up in the Hickory area. And I had a neighbor who had the most beautiful white cornmeal you ever tasted. Oh my God, it was delicious. But as soon as he ground that stuff, and he knew how to slow grind, not to overheat the corn, when it went in 1 gallon bags, which would be about 2.5, 3 pounds, go right in the freezer, automatic, right away. And not everybody knows exactly what they're doing or how to do it. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of people like Rick around. All right. Exactly. You know, I've listened to Rick about what he talks about in agriculture, and he knows pretty much what he's talking about. But this is for Rick, okay? If he's listening, ducks. There's only 2 ducks in the world. There's the Muscovy, and there's nothing beneath it in the biological chain, the way they classify animals. And the mallard sits atop of the duck world. Every duck in the world is related to the mallard, except for the Muscovy. And sometimes the Muscovy is called a tree bird. And, you know, I don't know about southern Florida, but I know you go up into Jacksonville, they have a problem with the Muscovy ducks just pooping over everything. So, wow. Gentlemen, y'all have a wonderful Christmas. And hopefully you and all your loved ones also have a good Christmas. All right?
You too. We'll see you in January.
Thanks,
yeah,
Paul.
we'll be back in January. And I got a phone call today from my insurance company and a pharmacist they hired. And you know why I got the phone call? Because of my cholesterol, and I'm not on a statin. And they go, well, we don't have access to all your records. I go, well, if you did, you'd see I'm allergic to statins. That's why I'm not on a statin, you know. And, you know, actually, you want to shut up the doctor? Just tell him, so yeah, I tried statins years ago. I had bilateral pain. I couldn't take it. and I'm allergic to it, and it ends the conversation forever. And you're done. But now they're coming after me about the injections. They want me to start injections for cholesterol. Ain't happening.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, guys. Enjoy.
All right.
Hey, thanks for what you guys do. Okay.
No problems. Our pleasure. Thank you for
Thank you.
enlightening us on all the information that you gave us. That makes a difference.
No problem. Oh yeah.
Better, you know.
Yep. Take care now.
Bye-bye. Merry Christmas.
Right. Bye.
You know, he makes a good point. The USDA, you know, they put these terms out there, and if you go and research it, do a little research on Google, he's right. They have to ask, like the pasture-raised eggs, they have to have access to the pasture. And to his point, I bought those pasture-raised eggs at Aldi a couple times because Sam's was out of it. And to be honest with you, the ones that I buy, like at Harris Teeter, which is a local grocery chain here, they're Vital Farms. They're like $8 a dozen. But when I bought the Aldi pasture-raised eggs, they weren't a whole lot. They were more yellow than orange. Where when I buy the Members Mark ones, the ones at Sam's, all the eggs are different colors, a little bit different shape, different sizes. They have, you know, they still have some dirt on them a little bit. You know, they're not factory eggs, and the yolk on them things is hard to break, and they're very, very orange, almost red. So yeah, he's got a great point. Sometimes you might be paying a lot of money for something that you're not getting the same amount of benefit from. I'm just in a situation right now. All my kids are grown and gone. My wife and I are blessed that we do pretty well financially, and we're not rich by anybody's definition. But you know, when you're not raising kids anymore, things get a little easier. So I do spend my extra money that I have on the pasture-raised eggs and the grass-fed, grass-finished beef, and the grass-fed butter like Kerrygold. I can get butter much cheaper than Kerrygold. I just try to find it as cheap as I can. I buy it at Sam's in the big box, brings the price down some. So I don't mind spending my money trying to get, even if it's just 10%, that's the 10%. At almost 60 years old, that's the 10% that I want, and the additional nutrition.
Another thing he mentioned was the organic, and I've heard this before from a couple of carnivore doctors have said that basically organic is just a marketing scheme. The way it's worded, like it doesn't really have to be organic. So it's interesting. Very interesting.
So I say I buy the organic heavy whipping cream from Organic Valley, and I read the ingredients. I think you and I looked at this, Brian, when I was at your house. Some of the heavy whipping cream has polysorbate or something in it, and all the ones I find have that same ingredient. And my wife looked it up when I was at your house, and it was like something used to preserve wood or something. I was like, why would I put that in my body? So when I found this Organic Valley, and it may not be truly organic, but it doesn't have that last ingredient, which I think was polysorbate or something. So it's the only one I could find that doesn't have it. So it may not be true organic, but and it may be a placebo effect. It may make me just feel better that I'm buying something that says organic on it. But I don't eat vegetables, so this is the closest thing to organic that I can get, you know.
Yeah. You know, something else that's got me thinking about was, and there were some comments too that were going on about like how people eat and so forth. Mm-hmm. And this reminded me of something too that I had been thinking about. You know, if you think about it, farmers often feed their cows grains, or their pigs, whatever it is, right? Grains to fatten them up, right? So that they get top dollar when they sell it, right? So if they know that grains are going to cause those animals to be obese, why is it that doctors tell you need to eat this balanced diet with grains? Shouldn't they know as well that grains are going to cause humans to get obese too?
Yep, exactly. I'll tell you a story, Brian. You know, my dad, my father, who's still very much alive, and he's a farmer. He raises beef cattle. And so his cows, he gets them when they're calves, they're very young. He puts them on pasture, so they're grass-fed up until the last 30 days of their life. He brings them into the barn, and he feeds them grain the last 30 days, and that fattens them up like that. So they're really, really healthy up until that point. And he's done really well as far as selling his cows, and they're 95% grass fed, but they're not grass finished. And the reason he brings them in 30 days before they go to market or before they go to processing is to fatten them up really, really quickly. And it works like a charm, just like it would if you ate grains or I ate grains.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I got to bring this up here. This is from like 15 minutes ago, so I missed it. I'm not even sure how this came into conversation. Cynthia's saying, "What should we call Johnny's character?"
It's about the cow on my
Are we
sweater.
talking about the cow? That's what I'm wondering. I don't know. And this was like 15 minutes ago, so nobody probably even remembers at this point.
What are you talking about, Cynthia? Bring us into the fold. Me and Brian got lost in conversation there. We missed all that.
Yes, I have no idea what we're talking about, but something about your character. Wow, my camera really is horrible, isn't it? Look at that.
Get out of the sun, Brian. You're
I
getting
go back here. I go back here and look at it's better. Maybe that's what I need for Christmas is a new camera. I think I did put that on my Christmas list, by the way. Maybe my wife will get it. We'll see. Wait, is this what somebody Bacon Runner just said? Honey buns. Is this what she was talking about?
Maybe that.
Honey buns?
I don't know. I'm lost.
Your character. I don't know. Or maybe honey buns was about something else. I don't know. Oh well, I can't believe it is after 9 o'clock. We have talked over an hour and we didn't even really have a theme today.
Yeah. We're just kind of winging it.
Talking about stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Well, Brian, if I can, since this is the last show of 2025, what are your plans for 2026? Do you have any things you want to accomplish, whether it be in your job or your house or your life or YouTube or carnivore? Is there anything that you'd like to, beginning of 2026, before the end of this year, I would like to accomplish blank? Is that something you ever put much thought into? Or anybody out there, you can respond as well. Like Rick might want to buy a new house or move or something, or fix up the house he's in. That might be one of the things that Rick's thinking about, because he talks about that a lot. But what about you, Brian?
Well, I have both of my daughters are getting married in 2026. So I have that. One's getting married in the spring and one's getting married in the fall. I think in terms of like my health and carnivore and stuff, I'm going to kind of be very open and transparent here. I've been doing this for 3.5 years. January 1st, I think, is exactly 3.5 years, if I'm not mistaken, I believe. And I've lost a good amount of weight, especially the first year, even the first 3-4 months, I lost a lot of weight. I still have belly fat that I need to get rid of. And it's kind of frustrating to me because there are other people I see that have done carnivore and they've pretty much gotten rid of all their belly fat in like a year. And I'm 3.5 years and I still have some that I need to get rid of. I mean, if you look at pictures of me before carnivore, like I look a lot better, right? I look a lot healthier. I've lost a lot of weight, but there's more that I should be losing, right? And I've done a lot of different things. I've done some switching up with some stuff. And, I know the weight on my scale, my weight on the scale, I can't talk tonight. Geez, my weight on the scale has not really moved in like the last year, really. Like part of my problem was I gained weight last Christmas and it took me all year to lose that weight back. But I haven't been too upset about that weight thing because at the same time, I was seeing differences in measurements, like at my waist, my belly button, that kind of stuff, my thighs, So I've seen improvements happening, but it's so slow. I really feel like I've got to have a goal in 2026 to get to where I should be, which I don't know necessarily what it is because I think your body's going to dictate that.
Right.
But I feel like my body's still got work to do because I know I still got a belly. So I think that I need to double down and be even more strict. I think that I need to add fasting. When I've been doing fasting, that has helped. I'm actually doing a fast right now, by the way. I'm about 30 hours into it. So that's the second thing, is a fast. And I need to do better at exercise, specifically high intensity type of things. I want to get back into sprinting next year. I've started to do push-ups a little bit here and there. I got to tell you, the first day I did push-ups, both of my legs really were quite sore. Both of my legs and my arms a little bit too. And I think some of that might have to do with that I hadn't been really working out and doing things since that hamstring injury. But that's kind of like the things I think I need to do. Those three really. So, be more strict. Trying to blink already on number 2 is fasting. Fasting. Do more fasting. So I'm going to try and do at least one fast a week of like 48 to 72 hours. And then being better with exercising, high intensity type of stuff. And I'm hoping that that's going to get me to where I really need to be, because it's kind of frustrating to me that I'm not getting quite where I think I should be. And again, this is probably my own fault, because I always say don't compare yourself to others. But when I compare myself to others, other people seem to do a better job when they've stayed on it for as long as I have. I get that some people struggle, but if they stayed on it as long as I have, they seem to be in a better place than I am at my point. So that's kind of my goal there. And I will say this, at times I do struggle where I'll eat something that I shouldn't, but I have been really, really clean for probably a month and a half, not had a single thing, not even like one time, something that I should not eat. I'm still not really seeing the difference.
Yeah.
So that's my being honest.
Let me ask you a
Quite
question.
more than you wanted to get when you asked me that question.
No, that's great. That's exactly right. Let me ask you a question. About how many steps a day do you get in? I know you sit at a computer for 8-9 hours a day for your job, so your ability to get all the steps in is limited versus somebody that works like Rick, who works outside all the time. About how many steps a day are you getting? 3,000, 4,000, 2,500? An average day, you think, for Brian?
I would say an average day is probably around 3,000. Let me see what I got today. And today I have been very much just sitting, working. I mean, I was stuck working until like 6 o'clock today. So let's see. I'm at 2,210 steps today. So I think 3,000 is probably my average, and that's a problem. That's the difference between like me and Rick, where like Rick is very active. He doesn't have to do all that working out and stuff because he's so active, right? And if he's doing something, let's say with AC or something, and he's moving whatever hours, working on his truck and he's moving parts around and stuff, he's lifting heavy things, so he's keeping himself going there. And I don't really get that, so I really need that. Maybe once every week or two I'll hit like 10,000 steps.
Well,
so it needs to get better.
So what I was thinking of a challenge for 2026, and we can talk about this when we do our first show in January, but I was just gonna look and do some math because I'm too stupid to do this in my head. Let's see here. So if you got 5,000 a day, 5,000 steps a day times 365 days a year, that's 1.825 million. I wonder if there's a tracker. I'm sure there is. There's got to be an app out there that can track your steps for the whole year and try to get like 1.8 million steps in over the course of a whole year. because I know for me, I'm going to get a lot more steps in when it's not 18 degrees outside. I'm just not going to get out there, especially when I got to be at work at 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't get off till 7 or 7:30 at night. I'm probably not going to walk a whole bunch because I get up now every morning and I fix bacon and eggs, clean up the kitchen before I leave to go to work. And then it's a 30-minute drive to work. And then I come home and I cook ground beef, whether it be burger patties or like my little mix that I make with the sour cream and jalapenos. That's what I had tonight. But I would like to see how many steps I can get in 2026. See if I can do, 3 million steps, whatever it is, just for the whole year. Because then I know when I've done those step challenges before, I did one with Sean White and several people back last year, and I was determined to win. I was the oldest person in the little contest, and I won by like 50,000 steps. I was dogmatic about it. But at the time, I was working at Lowe's, and I was on my feet all day, every day. I worked 11-hour shifts at Lowe's, and in retail, you're on your feet, you're moving. Especially at a place like Lowe's or Home Depot, you're going to be on your feet moving all day. But so that's something I was thinking about, trying to get more steps in, because like when I look at my face and my neck, I don't know if you've seen the picture of me from my it's on one of my videos or on my post, my 30-year high school reunion, which is 10 years ago. Now we're getting ready to have our 40-year reunion. I was huge. I didn't even have a neck. It was like head and then body. Like I didn't even have a neck. So now I've got, a jawline, my neck's smaller. So I see the here and in my wrist and in my lower legs, but I still have that big belly. My belly is the area that I really, really struggle with. Even when I'm clean and I'm running, doing sprints, exercising, I still get down to like a 36 size pants. I'd like to get down to a 32 or 30, which is probably where I need to be, at least 32, maybe even 34. But I can't seem to get that to budge no matter what I do. So I think for 2026, I'm just going to try to be more active, be stricter, be more disciplined, and not fall off the wagon quite as much. And then try to maybe get down to a size 34, that way the scale's kind of taken out of the equation. It's not a certain weight level I'm trying to get down to. It's just a certain waistline, because, if you have this big belly like I have, it's a really strong possibility that I have a lot of visceral fat in my liver. That's what causes your belly to be pushed out, especially if it's like mine's more on one side than the other. So I probably do have fatty liver, even though I'm certain it's markedly better now than it was 3 years ago. So there's things like that. Plus, I'm planning on building a new house. My wife and I are going to move down to South Carolina probably in the next 6 months. So that's going to be a challenge. I want our podcast to grow. I want it to get bigger and better, and for us to continue putting out great content with the podcast. And still want to continue getting back to sprinting. So, I guess you could say a New Year's resolution, and I know those things get a really bad rap, but I like to start fresh. Hard to believe that 2 weeks from today is New Year's Eve. It's crazy.
Yeah. And January is World Carnivore Month, by the way.
That's right.
I want to bring up some comments. And first thing here, I'm going to skip over a couple comments I may go back to, but I just want to put these up real quick. A couple people agree with you about your idea for keeping track of steps for the year.
Yep.
Rick brought that up, and so did Bacon Runner. But those are good ideas.
Yeah.
So let me go back to Cynthia's. She was commenting about your honey bun battle and thinking you should have an avatar clip that Amy makes. He could be a superhero who is fighting the buns.
That would be very accurate and apropos. That's my banana peels, honey buns and chocolate donuts. And you've seen my videos lately, Brian. I've kind of struggled in the last, not in the last, I think 8 days now. 8 days I've been rock solid, and I feel amazing. But yeah, I could have a little avatar where I'm fighting off the donuts and the honey buns, because that kind of describes my life really for all of November. I just fell off the wagon in November, and I just made up my mind that I'm getting back on around the holidays. A lot of sweets in the house, a lot of sweets at work. I'm the manager, and the assistant manager is a really, really good guy, Gerald. He brings donuts every day, and it's for everybody. He's trying to be nice, and we come in early, we work hard. The weather's been terrible. We ask people to stay much later than they're scheduled to stay. So as a thank you, he brings in coffee and donuts every day. And man, I have to just get up and go outside because they smell good, they look good, and that would be like a heroin addict and you're setting a big old bowl of heroin right in front of them. It's really, really, really tough for me to abstain. But I've done great. The last, I think today is day number 8. And I did a short this morning. And I don't know if I said this on the short, but I think I did. Just those 8 days, I can feel a tremendous difference. I thought I felt great 8 days ago, and I did compared to how I felt 5 years ago. But between, say, 8 days ago and today, I feel that much better. My mental health, when I go 3-4 days strict carnivore, my mental health just turns on a dime. I just feel so much more optimistic, so much happier, so much less anxiety. I'll share something with you that I didn't think I was going to tell anybody, but when I was really off the wagon and struggling there a couple weeks ago, I started having anxiety attacks like crazy every day. I had those when I was a teenager, and I hadn't really had one since then, but about 3 or 4 days in a row, I had these severe anxiety attacks while I was at work, and just had to kind of get myself off to the side and get my breathing down. And now that I've been clean for 8 days, the anxiety is completely gone, 100% gone. So that was a lesson learned. I really can't afford to go back and eat that crap, that duck food, as Rick would call it, because my mental health just falls off a cliff. Even if my physical health is still there, my mental health is what I noticed this time, is that I just went to pot when it comes to anxiety and pessimism versus optimism. So anyway.
Yeah, what's weird with me is I think at the holiday times, like this time period, right? Thanksgiving, Christmas, I've always struggled. Again, I'm 3.5 years, so this is my fourth Christmas season, right? And I think the first 3 years, I kind of really struggled with it. Last year was probably my worst, where I gained like 20 pounds or something like that. And I think it's because, I'm the only one that's carnivore, and everybody around me is eating all these other foods, and I get all these other foods around me. I see them, and it messes me up. The one thing I got to say is this year, finally, and again, this is my fourth Christmas since being carnivore, but this is the first year that I have not been tempted by those foods. And I'm hoping that is a turning point for me. We'll see. But I mean, it's funny. Like, I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 days ago, my wife was making like a bunch of cookies and stuff, like Christmas cookies and that she was gonna be sending to like other people and so forth, because she's the only one that's gonna eat this stuff here, right? She even said, like, I made so many, and like, I'm the only one that's gonna eat them. Nobody else is gonna eat them. You're not gonna eat them. And I'm like, yeah, I know I'm not gonna eat them. And she's like, so there was too many. And she even said she threw some of them out. I was like, well, that's kind of a waste of money, but okay. But anyway, I guess the point is that like there was like so many cookies there, and I actually was not tempted this year. And so I guess maybe playing devil's advocate to what I said earlier about how I'm not where I need to be, maybe it's just because I haven't gotten there yet, and because I've struggled at different times, like the holidays, and maybe I'm finally getting to that turning point where things are going to change for me. So we'll see if I can get to where I want to in 2026. I do have a couple of goals of other people's goals in here I want to put in. And then somebody else that I'm gonna bring this one up first, even though it's later than the others, because this is pretty cool. I was 327 pounds 18 months ago, and now I'm 238 pounds. So that's a huge change, almost 100 pounds. In those 18 months, I did 6 months strict carnivore and 12 months ketovore. Carnivore kickstarted it, and I'm enjoying ketovore now, and it's still working. So that is great. That's a heck of an achievement. Great job.
I like that screen name, Golf Addict, because that's me too. I love playing golf. I played 18 holes the other day and shot my best game ever.
There you go. Nice. All right, so here's a couple of other people's goals. Vacant Runner has running goals for the new year, and also will do more strength training than I have been doing. Looking forward to continue to spend time with my little granddaughters. Nice. And Bright's Biscuit. I'm giving myself a minimum of 4 years to get to what I consider my goal weight. I'm healing so much that I never thought was possible. I know that healing after many decades of disease will take time. That's another thing too I really need to think about, because I even talk about that sometime, right? Like, it took me 48 years of eating badly to get to the state I was in. I can't just expect that in a year I'm going to be completely healthy again. I got to keep that in mind myself. So thanks for saying that. There's a lot of comments in here. I think this is probably when you were talking about feeling better in the last 11 days.
Yeah.
You'll probably feel even better if you get a little leaner.
Yeah.
Or, and then she says, when you get.
Yeah.
Yes. Positivity. When you get leaner, not if. Yes. That's awesome. Golf Addict 65. I started on keto. That exposed my carb addiction, so I had to go ketovore, carnivore, less than 10 grams carbs a day. Boy, there's a lot here. I think this is when I was talking about temptations. I'm only tempted I can't even say
Psychologically.
psychologically. Thank you. I cannot talk tonight. Holy smokes! I think I worked my regular day job too long today, and I got brain fried. Anyway, I don't think that I don't think that the element of carb addiction will ever go away, but no slip ups in 6 months now. That's great.
Yeah.
Yep, I think you'll find that it'll get easier. I'm hoping that that's what's happening with me too. So her bride's biscuit, same thing. Maybe we'll find that it gets easier.
Yeah. And Brian, one of the things that I did 8 days ago when I started this is my big thing is I stay so busy and we're traveling back to South Carolina. I just don't take the time to go get the groceries. And if I don't have the groceries and those temptation hits, I can justify, well, I don't have anything else to eat. So I went one day, 8 or 9 days ago, and I spent like $250 buying bacon and eggs and ground beef and steak and everything. And now I've got the food, and I get up 30, 40 minutes earlier every day, and I fix breakfast at home before I walk out the door. I'm full as a tick, and that's really made a big difference. So sometimes it's just tweaking your schedule or prioritizing. We call it triage in my line of work, triaging what you need to do to fix these accidents, or I call them accidents that I keep having, because now that I've got all this food in the freezer and the refrigerator and all around, it's my wife and I went to a steakhouse. I guess it was yesterday, and Logan's Roadhouse. We go there all the time. Of course, they bring you that fresh bread with that sweet cinnamon butter when you walk in, and I didn't touch it at all yesterday. I had the Logan, which is their 10-ounce sirloin. I had it fixed medium, not medium well, just medium. Not medium rare yet, but medium. And I had 2 baked potatoes with butter and sour cream on the side. I gave the 2 baked potatoes to my wife. We brought them home. They're downstairs in the refrigerator. I didn't touch them. I had my steak. I ate the butter and the sour cream, and I drank water instead of Diet Coke. And it was easy. It's the easiest that's been in a long time. But it's because I have all the food that I need at home, to do what I need to do. And that's been my Achilles heel, is not taking the time to go to the grocery store. That it kind of boils down to that for me. If I have the food on hand, I do really well. If there's nothing in the fridge and I've got to run by a restaurant or the convenience store and grab something, that temptation is facing me. But in 8 consecutive days, I haven't been to the QT, which is the convenience store that has all the donuts and honey buns. So bacon and eggs, I use 4 to 6 strips of bacon and 6 to 10 eggs. I drink my coffee, and then I go straight to work. Go right past the convenience store and the Krispy Kreme. So something as simple as just having the groceries on hand has made a huge difference for me.
Yeah, that's a good point. Bride's biscuit, I want to bring this up here. Lost 72 pounds since going carnivore 1 year ago. Like to lose an additional 28. So that'd be a total of 100 pounds this year. Then focus on fine tuning, get rid of dairy and coffee lightly. I've never been a coffee drinker, so I haven't had that problem. Sorry. Prime rib steaks and roast are on sale for $14.89 a pound Canadian right now, which is usually $38.99 a pound. That's wow, that's really expensive. Where is this?
It's in Canada.
Yeah. Wow.
So that if you look at $38.99 a pound regular, $14.89 a pound now, that's a great sale. That's a fantastic sale. If you're used to paying $38.99 a pound, that's amazing. Stock up.
That is, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Do you have like an extra freezer at your house or anything like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have a chest
I have
freezer.
two extra ones.
My wife and I bought this little chest freezer. What it was, this guy used to come by and sell meat out of the back of a truck. And I know that sounds crazy. And we told the guy, don't come back, we're not interested. But he said, hey, what's the worst way to cook meat? Would you say the microwave? And I said, yes. He said, let me cook you a couple of steaks in your microwave right now. You can have them for free. And if it's not the best steak you ever had in your life, I'll leave. I will never come back. I said, you got it. So he came in here and he put 2 steaks in the microwave, cooked them for, 4 or 5 minutes, whatever it was. And we took them out. My wife and I each tasted it, and it was perfect. It was so good. And so we would buy meat from this guy, and I don't know where he got it from, but it was like boxes of chicken and pork and steak and hamburger, and it was reasonably priced. This is 16 years ago. And so the deal was, if you would buy an entire truckload, and he had a little small pickup truck, then he would give you a free little chest freezer, 6 cubic foot, I think, chest freezer, or maybe 7 cubic foot. It's not a tiny one, but it's not a real big one. And so we did the deal. We bought the meat, and he brought the freezer, and we unboxed the freezer right there in the driveway, put it in the garage, and it has worked like a charm. And that's 17 years ago when we essentially got it for free, and it's still working right now. Then we bought a brand new stainless steel appliances for our kitchen 2 years ago on Black Friday sale. But our refrigerator that my mother-in-law, God rest her soul, bought for us 25 years ago still works great. It's I think a Whirlpool. I put it out in the garage when we got our new one. So now we have a refrigerator and another freezer out there. Plus we have the new stainless steel refrigerator and freezer in the kitchen. So we got plenty of room to store meat. And my wife freezes a lot of vegetables. But my wife also does a lot of canning. And so the jars, she cans beef and chicken, and she does vegetables and stuff too. But we have a lot of meat canned that she did in her canner. So not all of it needs to be frozen, and we still have plenty of that on the shelf. It's still plenty good. But yeah, having an extra freezer makes a huge difference if you're going to do this lifestyle.
Yeah, it does.
Not necessary, but beneficial.
Well, it makes it cheaper for you too, because then you can buy the big slabs. Like I go to Costco and I get the big slabs, either ribeye or the New York loin. The loin is usually a lot cheaper, so I've been getting that a lot lately. And then you can cut into your own steaks, and you fill up the freezer, and you've got plenty of room if you got a couple of freezers like I do. Yep. So, matter of fact, I just saw a video. I can't remember if it was a short or if it was a regular. It might have been a regular long form video from Dr. Sean Baker talking about the Costco New York loins and how you can cut them up and so forth. And I've been doing that for like 3 years now, I think. So that works really well. It's a way to save, because like at Costco, at least, they're like $9.99 a pound. But if you buy the individual steaks, which they tenderize too, so that's not as good. But if you buy the individual steaks, it's like, I want to say like $12.99 or something like that. So you're saving like $3 a pound.
Yeah. Brian, when you cut your steaks up, do you vacuum seal them before you put them in the freezer? Do you have one of those vacuum sealers?
Usually, yes, I do. Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get lazy and I just use a Ziploc bag, but
I guess if you're going to eat them every day, then they're probably fine in a Ziploc bag. But my wife, she's bought one of those food savers, and we got the bags, or we have the kind where you make your own bag. And we've only done it a couple of times, but when we buy the big loins like that, and she'll help me. Sometimes she does it, sometimes she helps me vacuum seal it. Then I'll write the date on it. But typically, when I have all that steak, I tend to eat it down pretty quickly. I only get it when it's on sale.
Yeah. It's interesting. One thing I've noticed with Costco, it seems like this time of year, in the winter, when there aren't as many people grilling and so forth, their steaks are a little bit cheaper than they are when it's warmer outside.
Yep.
So it's also, if you can, try and stock up this time of year, because you get to summer, they're going to be more expensive. I don't know why they do that, but I've tended to notice that.
Probably less demand. People are probably eating a lot of soups and stuff like that in the wintertime, where in the spring and summer they're going to be grilling out. So you probably hit on a great point there. The demand for steak is a little bit less, and so it's easier to get a little bit cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah. Says my dad buys the big slabs of meat from Costco and cuts it into steaks. He's 79 years old and it's very short carnivore. So,
Awesome.
well, we're past our hour and a half. This is the last one of the year, though. Anything else we want to talk about?
No, just want to wish
No,
everybody.
you're probably tired though, right? Because you worked.
Well, you work too. I just had to travel to
Yeah.
work. Here's the thing: they wanted me to come in. They called me to come in. Oh, we're going to be real busy. Come in. I got there, and I got there at 9 this morning. We didn't make our first call until 2 o'clock this afternoon. So from 9 till 1:30, I just sat there. So I should have 20,000. I should have 20,000 steps in, because I should have just walked around the building. But I got playing on YouTube and Facebook and all that stuff, and I didn't get the steps in I should have got in. But yeah, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a very, very Happy New Year. You guys be careful if you're traveling, especially if you're in inclement weather. I know it's cliche, but I'm going to say it anyway. Slow down, increase that following distance, the car ahead of you. Don't drive if you're tired. Please don't, and drive. Don't drink and drive, if you get tempted to do that. Have a great, great Christmas or Hanukkah or any holiday that you celebrate. And we look forward to seeing everybody back here in January. Brian and I have great plans for 2026. We plan on taking this show. We're hopefully going to level up, come up with some good topics and a little more research. And we're going to redo the song that plays when it first comes on. So really excited about 2026. And we're going to finish 2025 on a good note.
All right. And I just say as well, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everybody. Happy New Year. It's okay if you slip up a little bit at the holidays. Just get back on it right away. And remember, January is World Carnivore Month. So we're going to be strong in January. We're going to have to do some World Carnivore Month stuff in our live stream. But
Definitely.
Next live stream is Wednesday, January 7th, 8 p.m., not a.m., 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time. Thank you, everybody. Have a good holiday.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy Hanukkah.
Start waving again.